If you have any questions, if you weren't able to attend the PD, if you have any comments, ideas, thoughts, feel free to send me one of the private chats. You can also send it to Callie, and we'll try to get to your questions. If we need to chat afterwards, that's also fine. We can arrange some time for us to do that. And then just for attendance purposes, so we know who's here, if you could just take 1 minute and double check to see if your name is showing up on your screen. So if you hover over your face on your Zoom, then you should see your name at the bottom. And so we want to make sure that we can say you were here when we go back in our records, and make sure we don't need to like follow up with you to answer any questions or just to keep you abreast. If it's not showing up, then click the participant list, click where your name is, or click the 3 dots, and then you rename it. Is Candace, can you help me out here? Click the 3 dots and then click rename, right?
Yeah, so you can click more and then find rename, and then rename yourself. Yep.
So if you take just 20 seconds and make sure that your name is good to go, because sometimes I log into different Zooms and who knows what name could pop up.
Now this is the first. I've never seen this. Somebody has an AI. Isn't this cool? Okay.
Is it happening automatically?
AI taking notes. Yeah. That's the first.
Oh, yes. I have seen those before. It's very, very cool.
Hi, guys. So this is Martha, and that's actually mine. I have no idea how I got there. I think I'm going to press something that created that, but it's pretty cool because it does send me notes after any Zoom meeting that I join, which I find really cool. But yeah, I don't really know how I got there.
Martha, we might reach out to you to get some of those notes.
Yeah, okay.
That would be awesome. Thank you.
Okay, so that's
pretty good notes. We're going to get started. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Antoinette Sampson.
Good evening. It is fitting, you guys, that we begin our journey through apprenticeship during their week of celebration. It's a perfect time to learn and explore. This is National Apprenticeship Week. National Apprenticeship Week is this is the 17th annual celebration of apprenticeships. The week brings together everyone passionate about apprenticeships to celebrate the value, benefit, and opportunity they bring. The theme for National Apprenticeship Week 2023 is Skills for Life, reflecting on how apprenticeships, I'm having problems with my words, how apprenticeships can help individuals develop the skills and knowledge required for rewarding career and businesses to develop a talented workforce that is equipped with future-ready skills. As you enter this space and prepare for our session, please take a minute to review the Jamboard that you completed during the October 24th orientation. That Jamboard has been dropped into the chat. Please hold us to our promise to provide opportunities for collaboration and to address your questions, comments, concerns, and ideas as we move through the next few months of learning together. Welcome to Project Expand's first collaborative professional development session, Apprenticeship. Reframe, define, explore, reflect.
Okay, thank you, Tony. So my name is Elise Montgomery. I am a part of this wonderful collaborative professional development team. My job is to introduce my teammates. Again, I'm Elise Montgomery. I have Antoinette Sampson here, who you've already heard from, as well as Candace Heron. We come with years of experience in the professional community of education. Our passions are working with teachers and empowering teachers to be able to empower and build a future for our students. So we're so glad that you're here. We're here for you throughout this journey to have a safe space so that we can learn and grow together. And with that, we're going to move into what we like to call norms, right? And so norms are the way that we conduct ourselves, the way that we want to make sure that we, behave behave, and I don't want to use the word behave because we're not students, but the way that we conduct ourselves within our session, right? So the first thing obviously is respect. We're going to treat each other with respect and dignity. We know that no one opinion is greater than the other. We are all in a space and place to be able to share our perspectives, and we respect our different perspectives because we come from different walks of life and we all have something to offer. The next thing is that we're going to engage. We're going to make sure that we encourage one another. We're going to have some active listening and active participation skills. There are going to be a lot of opportunities for you to collaborate and discuss with one another. And then there are going to be some opportunities that you have to listen to us, right? But in both of those situations, you want to make sure that you're engaged and you're here and you're ready to get all there is to get throughout this session. And lastly, of course, we all know what this means. We're going to be all in, right? We're going to make sure that we have tech respect. We're going to minimize our distractions, right? Whatever that looks like. We're all adults here, so nobody's clocking you or anything of that nature. But we're just going to make sure that we're in and we're giving our best selves throughout this, okay? So these are our norms. Can I get a thumbs up if we all agree? Boom, I see the thumbs. I like it. And I'm moving. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to my good friend Candace here, who's going to talk a little bit about your roadmap.
All right, so welcome again. So throughout our journey together, you will be utilizing our collaborative professional development roadmap, where you will be accessing our session materials, including presentations, slideshows, as well as a parking lot, which I just dropped in the chat. So if you have any questions throughout the presentation, feel free to access that, to drop your questions, and we will be responding to those throughout subsequent sessions. And there's some other relevant resources there as well. This is a working document, so we will be adding things to this document throughout all of our sessions together. It will be updated periodically. We do suggest that you bookmark this document, as we will be referring to it during each session. So let me make sure that is dropped. I think someone already did, but let me just make sure. If not, all right, so that third link that you see there is the actual CPD roadmap. And so what Elise is showing here on the screen, this is our session for today, November 14th. The presentation slideshow section will be updated after our session. We do have all of the activities and links to the activities that we're going to do today. They're listed under activities. Once again, the parking lot link, if you have any questions, is listed there as well. Okay. And if there's any pre-work for our next session, that will be added in that last column. It's not there yet, so don't worry about it. Okay. All right. Any questions about this document? If you do, just drop that, either drop it on the in the chat or on the parking lot. Okay. All righty. All right. It's time to check your battery. So let's talk about how we're feeling right now. It's been a long day. I know there's a lot going on in DC today. So hopefully your commute was not too crazy. So let's see how you're showing up for the session today. In the chat, if you could, I want you to tell us which of the battery indicators best describes how you are currently feeling. Let us know how you are feeling right now. Great, good, okay, yeah. How are you feeling? Drop that in the chat. Let's see how we're feeling. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh no, someone's struggling. We're gonna have to love on you a little bit today.
Yeah.
Somebody said fabulous. That's not even on my battery, but I love it. You off the chart. You are off the chart. Okay. Good. All tired. Yeah, I feel you.
Struggling to get home. It's okay. We're here. Oh, root canal.
Oh no.
Okay. Thanks for being here.
Yes, we appreciate you being here,
Appreciate
pushing
that.
through.
Yeah.
If you do feel empty, or if you're struggling, you know, you need to take a moment to take some deep breaths, make sure you refocus and decide how you're going to push through to make this a great time of learning and collaboration for you tonight. Okay, so thank you all for sharing how you're feeling. We're going to jump right into the work by exploring our why.
I think it's my opportunity to introduce Dr. Beth Tackweiler. Beth was missing from our last meeting, and for those of you who couldn't be with us then, Beth is being introduced as not only the principal investigator on Project Expand, but a colleague and a friend in the Department of Special Ed and Disability Studies at GW. I'm Max Freund, and I have known Beth for nearly 15 years, and it has been a joy every day to work with her. I know this is going to be an exciting opportunity. And Beth, please introduce yourself and take the show on the road.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I am so excited to be here. And for those of you who are commuting, I feel you. For those of you who are feeling okay, I feel you. I'm hoping that me starting off with a story will give you a little boost, a little bit of energy. So I really hope that you'll find these sessions invigorating and exciting. And so I want to thank this team and thank all of you for being here. I'm so happy and grateful to have this opportunity to engage with you in the work of Project Expand. It is already fulfilling and meaningful. And I wanted to start off by sharing with you guys that this is kind of a full circle moment in my life. You're here with me in this kind of full circle moment. So let me explain that just a little bit. My father is a veteran from the Vietnam era and also a retired postal worker. But in between those two phases of his life, he and my three uncles all worked for my grandfather, who owned a construction company. They built houses and neighborhoods from the ground up with dozens of people on job sites, carpenters, plumbers, electricians, roofers, HVAC professionals. I mean, the list goes on. And my grandfather, who owned the company, was a huge proponent of apprenticeship as a path for people to gain new skills, expand financial opportunities. Many of his workers had come home from the war, having missed their college years and more. And he really saw apprenticeship as a path, not for them just to learn to build a home or hone their trade and hone their skills, but also as a way to build, not only houses, but their lives. That was really how he saw apprenticeship and the opportunities that came with it. Many of these folks worked in their trade until retirement. Some, like my father, who apprenticed in carpentry, moved on to an unrelated workspace, but they did definitely take those skills with them for life, which is funny because that is a little bit of our theme this week, skills for life. So I said full circle, here's what I mean. My father came to visit me just this past summer, and we ended up replacing some rotten wood on my back porch because my father cannot tolerate any rotten wood anywhere. So we had to replace it right then, right now. And at one point he said, "I'm really proud of you. You can really swing a hammer for someone who doesn't know what she's doing." And he went on to explain to me about different weights of hammers and how to strike a nail in different ways, and started to teach me how to do something, I'm still not sure what it is, called toenailing wood together. And I paused and I said, "Dad, how do you know all of this, still after decades of having left construction, being in the post office?" He said, "You never forget your trade. It becomes a part of you." And in that moment, I told him, it was this past summer, I said, "We have a project under review, and I really hope we get it because I want to work with these education professionals. I want to focus on apprenticeship. I think it could make a really big difference for district youth, for our community." And he said, in his very direct way, he said, "Well, I hope you do get it. It will make a difference." And he said, apprenticeship makes a difference in life and for life. And then he patted my shoulder and said, "Apprenticeship is also why I know you're not toenailing anything else today. Give me the hammer." So me, having not been apprenticed in carpentry, handed over the hammer. So this work is meaningful to me on multiple levels. As someone who cares about transition, as someone who grew up with somebody who was apprenticed to a trade, we, all of us, all of you, I think we are inspired by the possibilities that apprenticeship presents for district youth, for our community. We're thrilled to have the opportunity to truly engage with our community. All of you, students and families, our partners at DOES, registered apprenticeship providers, to Well, to expand knowledge of and access to and connections among DC's world of apprenticeship and you, the professionals who've signed on to do the work, and all of us working together. This is an opportunity for us to pool, really pool expertise and wisdom together to work on this project and create something together. And there's so much that everyone in this space has to offer during this inaugural year of Project Expand. We are a diverse group of education professionals on this call. We have diverse roles in schools and communities. We have unique background experiences and knowledge. We have our own multiple ways that we engage with district youth and in district families. And in my mind, they all represent these individual threads. And Project Expand gives us a space to weave those threads together and create a really beautiful tapestry, one that's strong, that's vibrant, that's compelling. And I might not be good at hammering, but I'm pretty darn good at co-weaving and co-creating tapestries. So I cannot wait to weave this Project Expand tapestry with all of you. And as we learn together about apprenticeship, the substantial benefits that it brings to district youth and families, I feel like we're going to collectively be able to challenge what I think of as an either or false dichotomy. And it's one that a lot of our youth hear and believe, and that is after high school, it's either college or employment. I want us to challenge that, and let's transform the dialogue to and. It's employment and college and apprenticeship. So yes, we aim to help change the dialogue for students and families, but I also hope that participating in Project Expand will inspire you personally, bring additional purpose and meaning to the amazing work you're already doing, and affirm what you already know, what we all already know, which is that educational professionals are actually change agents. I've been in the field for 25 years. I've seen what happens when educators come together to innovate, to empower, and to facilitate positive change. So I want to thank you truly for joining us in this opportunity, for the community building and the connection that will happen, for your focus on equity, and for supporting opportunities for everybody to participate in a diverse, skilled, and inclusive workforce. And I really can't wait to see what we all build together. Thank you.
Just to review our mission and vision, Project Expand aims to mobilize educators to help close the gap between knowledge, employment, and career opportunities around apprenticeship for district youth and workforce needs. We look to partner with all of you, and we want to empower DC education professionals. Also, we want to facilitate a network of relationships with all of you, engaging with you, and leveraging externship experiences, visiting sites, interacting with registered apprenticeship providers. We are also here to provide technical assistance and wraparound support in the classroom. Additionally, we look to provide disability inclusion expertise, consultation, and support. And our end goal here is to transform all of you into apprenticeship ambassadors. We also would like to highlight how we envision all of us working together, working collaboratively. Our beliefs are that we want to empower you to facilitate meaningful change in the lives of your students and their families, as well as your school and those communities. We want to engage in authentic partnerships and a shared vision amongst a diverse and multidisciplinary group of stakeholders. We would also like to provide access to relevant knowledge, resources, and collaboratively support educators to create innovative and powerful learning experiences. Those beliefs will be accomplished by our core practices of collaborating together to contribute equally with your important perspectives, ideas, and expertise. Again, we will continue to communicate and collaborate to expand knowledge of apprenticeship and energize youth about post-secondary opportunities. Lastly, we will embrace a community-engaged approach to increase the equitable opportunities and outcomes for all district youth and community members.
Okay, so let's look at our objectives for today, our agenda for today's session. So during today's session, we are going to accomplish 4 things. First, we're going to examine some common misconceptions and consider how we can reframe preconceived notions about apprenticeships. Then we're going to develop a comprehensive definition of apprenticeship. What is it exactly? Third, we're going to explore some articles and we'll analyze the impact, identify benefits, as well as the return on investments of apprenticeships. And lastly, we will reflect on the session and share key takeaways. So let's start off by examining what we already know about apprenticeships.
Tony, you're on mute.
I mean, I had all this speech going. I was really. So listen, we want to start thinking about apprenticeship. What other people think about apprenticeship, what we think about it. What words come to mind when you think about apprenticeship? Candace has dropped a link in the chat. It's called a Mentimeter. You may either click the link in the chat or you can use this QR code. As you enter your words into the Mentimeter, think about what other people say about apprenticeship programs, the preconceived notions associated with apprenticeship, positive words that you've heard, negative words you've heard. During this session, we hope to remove the stigma around apprenticeship. In order to do this, we must put it all on the table so that we can start with a clean slate. So hopefully by now you have entered a few words. How's that feeling? Elise, are we getting words? Nice. Beautiful. So, what words stand out the most? Can somebody tell me that? What words stand out the most?
I definitely see learning. Learning has been large. That means a lot of people have selected that. And trade.
Right. Hands-on. I see hands-on. Hands-on. Rewarding career. Excellent. So do you think their thoughts are accurate? Are your thoughts accurate? Their thoughts accurate? Because we're not looking just at ours, but at other people. Can somebody come off just for 1 second? Can somebody come off mic and tell us a little bit about what you think?
I'm not sure if I'm not looking in the right direction, but the first thing that came to my mind was the perception that you're uneducated if you're going to an apprenticeship or you didn't get into college.
Nice. I see that too. Limited opportunities. Excellent. We'll take one more person. Thanks so much for sharing, Maria. We've got 32 people in the room. People said they were feeling great and excited and ready to go. Okay. Well, we'll hear from you next time then.
I thought another interesting thing that popped up was blue collar.
I
as
saw
a
that
perception.
too.
Yeah.
Right. I saw that too. Blue collar. And there was one more. Hands-on experience. Skilled labor.
Mhm.
Skilled labor. That was an uneducated.
Mhm.
Well, educated. Very good. Well, thank you very much.
Long hours, someone said in the comments.
Right. So now as we move to reframe, right, Elise?
Yes, yes. Thank you, Tony. So some of the things that you guys had on the word cloud, right? We need to think about where they come from, right? We have these thoughts that come from somewhere. We hear them. It's a part of our society at large. It's embedded in our culture unconsciously, but for some reason, we have these thoughts that may not always be positive about this thing we call apprenticeship. We may think like vocational trades, the number of synonyms, but just around this topic here. So in this section, we're going to think about how do we reframe that? Reframe means to express something differently. So we're going to look at some of these misconceptions, and we're going to talk about, well, not really talk. We're gonna do a little experiment on how we can examine these misconceptions and we can reframe. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have ever played this game, but when I grew up, me and my friends, we used to play a game called Never Have I Ever. Raise your hand if you've played Never Have I Ever. Don't leave me by myself. Okay, all right. Okay, I'm not by myself. Cool. Okay, so in this game, right, it's a person asks a question or makes a statement, and it's something they've never done. So maybe I'll say, never have I ever been to Bora Bora. If someone has been to Bora Bora, they will put a finger up because that's something they've done, right? But today we're going to do something a little different. It's going to be in reverse, okay? So we're going to talk about some statements about apprenticeship, some common misconceptions. And we want you to think about, have you ever thought or heard this misconception? If you have, you're going to put a finger up. There are 5 statements in total, so it's only going to be one hand worth of lifting and putting down, okay? So we got 5 statements. If you've ever thought or heard this statement, you're going to put one finger up for each statement. Give me a thumbs up. This doesn't count if you understand our instructions. Okay, I see a few thumbs. All right, good. Okay, so for the purpose of this, we're going to stop sharing because we're going to look at what we call our Brady Bunch squares here. This is what we like to call our Brady Bunch squares. We see each other here. And so as I read each statement, we're going to look and see how many of these statements we've either thought or heard as a collective unit. Okay, so is everybody ready? All right, here we go. Statement 1. Apprenticeships are only for students who don't excel in traditional settings. If you've ever thought or heard that before, put a finger up. Apprenticeships are only for students who don't excel in traditional settings. Okay, we got the thumbs with cameras off. Okay, all right, okay, all right, here we go. Make sure we tally. So this is 1. You got to keep this finger up when we go to the next statement. Now, I don't know what these camera offs are going to do, but know that you had 1. Here we go. Question 2.
Can that count? Can it count? I'm sorry, Elise.
No, go ahead.
Can I put up half a finger if I've heard it, but I didn't believe it?
No. I like this. But no.
Come on, Elise, because I heard it, but it ain't
true.
true.
It's thought or heard. It's not believed. Thought or heard. I like this though. You're thinking, but no. This is good. Here we go. Question 2. Apprenticeship programs are less valuable than traditional college degrees. If you've ever thought or heard it, put a finger up. Okay, we got 2. Okay, all right. Some people are 2 for 2. Some people are 1 for 2. Okay, all right, let's keep going. Next statement. Students who pursue apprenticeships are not fit for college. If you've ever thought or heard it, they're not fit for college if they go to vocational tech. Putting a finger up. Okay. Look at us. We 100% okay. All right, we're moving. Here we go. 4th statement. Apprenticeships are less likely to lead to well-paying jobs as compared to traditional education, meaning in comparison of a college degree. Less likely. Okay. All right. Okay. We got 1 more statement. 1 more, last one. Apprenticeships cater to minority students from underprivileged backgrounds. Ever thought or heard? Minority students, underprivileged backgrounds. Okay. All right, so that's all 5 of our statements. Some of us have all 5, some of us have 4, 3, 2. The point is, we all had some fingers at one time throughout this activity. What does that mean? It means that words have power, they travel, they go places. I don't know any of you, you don't know me, but at some point we've all heard these misconceptions, okay? So thinking about that, understanding that, the wonderings are, right, knowing that words are powerful and permeable, how do they play a role in how we can, 1, identify where they're coming from, and 2, how we can reframe it. So with that, I'm gonna go back to sharing my screen, okay? And I want you to think about knowing this information now, and I'm gonna skip to our question, knowing this statement here, knowing that words are permeable, that they've spread, they've gone places that we have not gone, right? It's safe to say that our students probably might have been exposed to these misconceptions as well. It is our responsibility to reframe this language so that our students can have a new narrative, or the people that we service. So in the chat, I want you to think about and type your response. How can you use your influence to reframe these common misconceptions? You're going to write that in the chat at this time. How can you use your influence wherever you are in life to reframe these common misconceptions?
Is there also anyone that wants to come off of mute so we can hear some other voices in the room that want to respond verbally?
I'll respond.
All right, let me hear you.
Apprenticeships prepare anyone for a successful career. Some of the things that you all have put your fingers up, I couldn't believe, because my family is a bunch of, electricians. They had, apprenticeships, and they made tons of money, and they have their own businesses, and they worked in government. I've never heard of such, and they did have to go to college for a certain period of time to master mathematics and, the electrical components. So what you all have, no. So I will reframe this as apprenticeships prepare individuals for a career that they have a passion for.
So Thea, one of the things that you're going to use is you're going to use your prior knowledge and your experience.
Yeah, my prior knowledge is, bricklayers. All of my family are pretty much, people who own their own homes, several homes. They build homes. They work with government. They've done all of this, and they've never went to college. This has been maybe 7 generations.
Thank you. Thanks so much for sharing. We have so many comments in the chat, Elise.
Yep.
Now, Kristen said, by promoting apprenticeships, talking about them more positively, and letting students know they are a viable option for anyone interested in them. So I like that, to empower our students. Kiona said, I can educate the team of educators I work with. So we're going to do some train the trainer and expose students to real success examples to show them the value and opportunity. And I love this. Ms. Corcoran said, I can give a mini lesson about the benefits of apprenticeship. So we're going to take it right into the classroom. I love that. Yeah, absolutely. We're going to connect students to the program.
Thank you. Thank you, Tony, and thank you everyone for sharing. These are all great, and that's what the purpose of Project Expand is to do, right? So with this project, we're going to write a new narrative, right? So I need everyone to think about how you, and we already talked about it, how you and your influence in your place right now, you play a role in this process. And as an ambassador of this work, that you have to be mindful that you will encounter individuals with this type of thinking. But this project is going to empower you by giving you the wealth of knowledge that you need in order to have a different conversation about the truth. And the good thing is that you guys have personal stories and things that you already have experience with that give you a strong basis to be able to push forward, right? So with that, that's wonderful. We're going to move on. And now that you've had the opportunity to kind of explore this and talk about these misconceptions, now that we reframed, now what we're going to do is make sure that we define it together so that we move forward on one accord universally. Tony?
Excellent. You all doing a great job. I love every minute of this. This is a lot of new learning for some people, and absolutely, like Thea, there's some folks who have a whole bunch of knowledge that they can pour into us, and I appreciate it. So one of the things that we want to do right now is we want to talk about apprenticeship and the definition. So How do you start defining it? How do you start making that definition of apprenticeship your own? And what I think we should do is start with the history. We're going to start with the history. I want you to take a look at this timeline. What I think so much is that we just cannot begin to build our knowledge of apprenticeship without considering its history. So a copy of the timeline has been dropped in the chat. As I summarize the entries on the history of the apprenticeship-related policies timeline, I want you to think about your takeaways. What are your thoughts? Do you have any aha moments? What milestones stand out to you? Remember that your thoughts and ideas become information that you may share with others as you become an ambassador for DC apprenticeship programs. Let's take a look at the timeline. Do you all have it up? In the 1990s, the initial legislation in the U.S. aimed at establishing an organized apprenticeship system was passed in Wisconsin in 1911. This state law mandated all apprentices to attend 5 hours of classroom instruction each week. So now you see we're starting to build apprenticeship. You know, as we were learning about it, that's one of the first things that I learned, that these kids have to go into class. They have to go into classrooms. Okay. In the 1920s, there was a collaborative effort by national employer and labor organizations, educators, and government officials to establish a national uniform apprenticeship system. The initiative gained momentum in the post-World War I boom, when the construction industry sought well-trained employees through apprenticeship programs. Additionally, due to immigration restrictions after the war, there was a decline in skilled workers entering from other countries. In 1930, the Federal Committee on Apprenticeship, established in 1934, the goal was to promote apprenticeship nationwide. The committee was appointed by the Secretary of Labor to serve as the national policy recommending body on apprenticeship in the U.S. In 1937, Congress passed the National Apprenticeship Law, commonly known as the Fitzgerald Act. By the mid-1940s, there were approximately 6,233 registered apprenticeship programs nationwide, educating and training 4,000 apprentices. The 60s, 70s, and 80s, and the years after the enactment of the Fitzgerald Act, apprenticeship changed in many ways. Initially, apprenticeships were predominantly in construction, manufacturing, and utilities. After World War II, they expanded into fields like law enforcement, firefighting, and emergency medical technicians. By 1960, 172,000 workers participated, growing to almost 270,000 in 1970. However, during the early 80s recession, the proportion of apprentices fell as many manufacturers halted programs, laying off workers and downsizing. Over the years, there's been a fluctuation in apprenticeships. During the robust economy of the 1990s and the early 2000s, apprenticeships rebounded, reaching 442,000 by 2008. However, the 2008 recession and its aftermath led to a decline, with the numbers decreasing to 358,000 by 2011. So in 2014, President Obama's 2014 push to expand federal support for apprenticeship programs included initiatives to facilitate apprentices in receiving college credit for their training. The Departments of Labor and Education established the Registered Apprenticeship College Consortium to streamline the process of earning college credit applicable to associate's or bachelor's degrees. Additionally, funds from the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, assists companies and students in covering tuition, books, and tools. In 2017, President Trump issued an executive order to expand apprenticeships in America. A task force on apprenticeship expansion, led by the Secretary of Labor, was established to address the skills gap that contributed to 6.3 million open jobs in the U.S. Strategies to address the skills gap included the creation of the industry-recognized apprenticeships, promoting private sector initiatives, and expanding access, equity, and career awareness. So that is a mouthful, and that's a lot of information, and I'm going to allow you to take it all in as you read through the timeline. There are so many aha moments that came to my mind, and I hope there's some that are coming to yours as you peruse the timeline. So the timeline takes us through 2017. We're going to take a look at this video that will address some of our recent initiatives.
I'm excited to launch something new with the Department of Labor, our Apprenticeship Ambassador Initiative. This initiative will bring together leaders from industry, labor, education, equity, and the workforce to be champions of registered apprenticeships.
Apprenticeships expand pathways for workers to enter and lead in all industries. Apprenticeships expand pathways for workers to design their lives and determine their futures.
Apprenticeships open the door for people of every race, from every community, to move ahead.
And I believe it's the key to stimulating our local economies, reducing racial and gender gaps in the workforce, and supporting underserved communities.
At the Department of Commerce, we recognize that apprenticeships are a proven pathway to the middle class
that will support more Americans in gaining on-ramps to good jobs in high-demand industries.
Registered apprenticeships provide employers with a proven structure to keep skills at the cutting edge and provide critical on-the-job training with a mentor, which gives firms the highest skilled talent and makes you more attractive to potential employees.
Thanks to these apprenticeships, more than 600,000 Americans, including women, people of color, young people, and people with disabilities, are thriving in industries ranging from agriculture to cybersecurity.
Here's but one example. In July, I met with a woman by the name of Jo Von Johnson, a union carpenter in Nevada. She explained how she, quote, built her career on infrastructure and fed her family on infrastructure. Every worker in America who wants that opportunity must have that opportunity.
A national network of apprenticeship ambassadors will partner with us to communicate the value of registered apprenticeships. They will help us expand registered apprenticeships, including youth apprenticeships and pre-apprentice programs. And they will identify innovative practices and partnerships to modernize, strengthen, and accelerate the growth of registered apprenticeships.
And by becoming an apprenticeship ambassador, you can support the effort to train workers for this opportunity and help your organization attract the talent it needs.
We know that the Apprenticeship Ambassador Initiative will help us build the ecosystem across government, academia, and business to scale apprenticeships nationwide.
There's absolutely no reason that every company in every geography and every industry vertical should not be leveraging the win-win-win power of apprenticeship.
I want to applaud all the apprentices who work hard every day to improve their skills and the businesses who support apprenticeship programs for providing invaluable opportunities. I also want to encourage those who are thinking about pursuing a life-changing apprenticeship opportunity to go for it.
If your organization is seeing the value and benefits of registered apprenticeships, we'd love for you to partner with us. To find out more, please visit our website at apprenticeship.gov.
All right, so we just watched a video there that kind of brought it all full circle and kind of gave us a basis for why we're here today. One of the favorite things that I heard about that was that basically, this is a proven pathway to the middle class, right? So you don't have to have a 4-year degree to have a great life, right? So I think taking that information and being able to couple that with this secure definition will, one, let us know that the benefits are on both sides of the coin, right? So it's not just for the employer, but the benefit is too for the student. And that's where you come in, right? Your job is to make sure that you can identify the experience that should be happening for the students in the community in which you serve. So we're going to dig a little bit deeper. Okay, we're going to look at this definition. It says, an apprenticeship is an industry-driven, high-quality career pathway where employers can develop and prepare their future workforce, and where individuals can obtain paid work experience, classroom instruction, mentorship, and a portable credential, right? So there are a lot of words there that speak to a great experience for our youth and people that will be involved. So I want you to think of, in this definition, what words speak to the purpose of that video that you watched, as well as that history and that timeline. We want to think about what words stand out to you in this definition and speak to the true purpose of the ambassador program that is bringing about all that we have here today. All right, so we're going to take a second, put those in the chat, and we're going to play a game. It's called Waterfall. So you're going to put them in the chat, put your thoughts in the chat. Oh, somebody done jump. Vita, no, don't press enter. No. Okay. Wait. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. I appreciate the apology. It's okay. All right. So you're gonna type it again in the chat, but don't press enter. Okay. So you're gonna type in your thoughts. What words in this definition speak to the purpose of that apprenticeship ambassador program? And then when I say the word waterfall, that's when you're gonna press enter so that we can see all of our responses. Nobody can cheat. Nobody can look at anyone else's responses and make it their own. Everybody's gonna have to share their own thoughts at this time. Type them in the chat. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Waterfall, go. Boom. Yes. Paid work experience, opportunity for financial security, a high quality career pathway. That was my favorite thing, high quality, meaning, right? You don't have to work at McDonald's if you don't want to, right? I had a job at McDonald's. There's no shade to it, but that's not necessarily what you have to do. Yes. Portable. That means you can take it somewhere with you. It's useful. Yes, very good. So we should be giving our students these type of experience, something that they can use, right? We're in education. We see so many career changers, people that have degrees that come over because they were not able to have any use or purpose for what they studied school for. So why do that? Let's cut out the middleman. Let's go straight for purpose and passion, right? And so with that, we want to think about how now, since we have a greater understanding, what we're going to do is we're going to take our opportunity to explore, and we're going to get some article reviews today. Candace, go forth.
Thank you so much. All right, go ahead and move on to the next slide because we're going to go ahead and jump right on in to this work. All right, so what we're going to be doing now, in just a few moments, I'm going to put us into some breakout rooms. We love breakout rooms, don't we? You're going to be reading and discussing an article. Each room actually is going to have a different article. Each group is going to have a different article. So in your groups, you will first determine which role each person in your group will have. And you see those 4 roles listed on the screen: facilitator, timekeeper, note taker, and presenter. If you have more than 4 people in your group, you will have to duplicate some of the roles. That's okay. But once you get into your breakout rooms, you will have some time to first read your article. It's very short. You may have to just skim it. And then I want you to discuss, have a conversation around these 3 questions here. The 3 questions, let me just go ahead and read those out loud, just make sure we're all on the same page here. So the first question is, what are the potential benefits of apprenticeship as outlined in the article? What are the returns on investment? And here I want you to consider the perspective not only of the employer, but that of the apprentice, as well as the society at large. What are the returns on investment? And lastly, in what ways does the reading speak to opportunities for some people more than others. And here I want you to consider a lot of different groups here: gender, race, orientation, immigration status, ability, socioeconomic status, etc. Okay. So you're going to have some time to kind of discuss those questions. And I want you to prepare a response to at least two. Okay. So you're going to choose two questions that you're going to actually write a response to. And that response will be placed on a Padlet. Okay. And I'm going to drop that Padlet link in the chat now, just so you'll have access to it. Okay. So I also think you should probably take a picture of this slide just so that you have access to it when you get into your breakout rooms, and you'll be able to refer to it with your group. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to have 4 roles in your group, and you're going to have time to read and discuss these questions. Go ahead and move on to that next slide. All right. So again, that's the Padlet. I've already dropped it in the chat. Click that again for me, please, Elise. Here are our questions again. Okay. So at this time, we have the Padlet in the chat. Your group will respond to at least 2 of the questions. To add your response, make sure, matter of fact, can you open up a Padlet, Elise? Because I want to make sure everybody knows how to do this, right? So to add your response, you're going to select the plus sign underneath whichever question you're responding to. Can you click on one for us? And then I want you to make sure you include your group number right there in that subject line, okay? As well as your article title, okay? So that we know which article you're referring to. And then in that bottom section, you can go ahead and type your answer, okay? So you're only going to respond to 2. We did put a separate, a 4th question there, and that is, if you have any additional ahas, you can't think of an answer to one of those specific questions, feel free to drop your responses in that last column. Okay. Give me a thumbs up if everybody understands where we're going so far. And then I'm going to go into our which articles we're going to be talking about. Make sure we have some thumbs. We got some thumbs. We're good. All right. So here are our articles. Each group will have a separate article. And let me make sure I'm going to drop all of the articles into the chat. Whichever breakout room you are in, that is going to be the group number that you have. Okay. And that's the article that you're going to be reading. So I'm going to be dropping this into the chat now. These are our articles. We have some really great articles. The first group is going to be talking about reading an article from energy.gov about Earn While They Learn. Group 2 is going to be reading about the transformative impact of youth apprenticeships. Group 3 is going to be reading about CTE, career and technical education in high school. Group 4 is going to be reading about union-led apprenticeships that aim to ease the teacher shortage, which I thought was very interesting. Group 5 will be reading about advancing apprenticeships opportunities for people with disabilities. And lastly, Group 6 will be reading about women or opportunities for women in apprenticeship. Okay, so everybody has their articles, and in a moment, we're going to drop you into your groups. You will have approximately, we're going to say about 12 minutes. Okay, I know that's a kind of a short amount of time, but for you all to kind of peruse the article and have your discussion. We will be popping into those groups to answer any questions if you have any. Okay, so at this time, I'm going to open up our rooms. Okay. Now, I thought everybody was going to be automatically assigned. It looks like they were not.
They're joining.
Now I have to go in and manually do this.
Someone just asked, will they have access to the other articles? So they'll all be in the PowerPoint slide, and you'll have access to the PowerPoint slide. Will we also link them directly into the CPD map, right?
Yeah, they'll be
So
in
they
the the slides will probably be a PDF. So they'll be in the roadmap.
Okay, perfect.
You all are back in the main room. I know we didn't give you a lot of time. So I hear you talking, but I know you were having a great discussion. I love it.
Right as I was pressing enter.
Oh no.
This is great. This is really, really good. So we had an opportunity to come into your spaces, to listen to you, talk to you for a little bit. You were quite engaged in these articles. We were excited about them. We thought that you would be too. We promise to start on time and end on time each time we meet. Okay, so we're not going to have time to do some of the things that we wanted to do, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to have an opportunity to engage with these articles at another time. I want to take a look. I can't not take a look at one thing. I think the potential benefits of apprenticeship as outlined in the art. Let's start with number one. Underrepresented people like women and minorities earn while you learn. That's huge. And I think that's huge for everyone. If you don't know about apprenticeships, I think that as ambassadors, you go out into the world, you let people know what apprenticeship is. They understand that they earn while they learn. They get a little bit of money, while they're learning these amazing skills and trades. I think it speaks to a brighter world for all of us, and especially for our students. So with that being said, we want to thank you so much for an amazing evening. We're going to turn this over to Miss Kelly Hyder, who is going to talk to us a little bit about your homework. No applause? No excitement? Is anybody applauding? Oh, yeah. Homework. Let's go, Kelly.
So you have your next session on Tuesday, November 28th at the same time from 4:30 to 5:45. The link is attached in the meeting invite. It is a different link than tonight, so please be sure to open your invite however you get it and click on that link in there to join us on November 28th. We will be reaching out to you by Friday to provide your pre-work resources for prior to our next session. But until then, we hope that you have a wonderful and safe Thanksgiving, and hopefully you get some well-deserved time off as well.
Do we want to mention the feedback?
Ooh, yes, please.
Yes, we do value your feedback. Thank you. We want to go ahead and scan this QR code. I don't know if Candace is able to.
I just dropped it. I just dropped the link.
Thank you, Candace. So Candace just dropped the link in the chat for us. We definitely want to value your feedback. We say that because we are always looking to improve and just make sure that we address the things that you are looking for as participants in this program, and you kind of guide our work and our discussions. So we want to make sure that we get some quality feedback from you. So please take the time to do this very, very brief survey. And with that, are there any final comments from either the CPD team or our GW friends? Any final comments at all?
So I'd like to say that I'm just so very excited to be here, that I'm excited about the work that we're going to do together. Just as a reminder that we provided the foundational information this time, and that next time we're going to go to work. We're going to go to work, and our time together will be more collaborative. So I'm looking forward to that.
And I just want to say thank you for you all's time. Have a wonderful evening.